Okay, so this is level 2. I've never seen level 2, so I'm actually kind of excited to see it. The doctor is going to explain more about what's going on with your body and how your nervous system works. Again, Dr. Joanne's been doing this for over 25 years. She's been asked to speak at many businesses and churches and schools, all because of her reputation and the results that she gets right here in this room. So, welcome Dr. Joanne.
Okay, hi everyone. Hello. I brought my secret weapon. And flowers, of course. Okay. Just waiting for cat. Can you still see the spine look? Isn't that because I moved it?
Go.
Okay. Okay. Welcome everybody. All right. So, take a look at this and see which side you kind of spend more time on. So, who hangs out more on this side? Raise your hand.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Who hangs out more on this side? Yeah, and the rest are not committing? You're committing to more on this side?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
It's in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
And you're in the middle. So you guys just started care, so I would expect you to be more on this side, right? And Cheryl, I think you've had the most care.
A year.
A year. Maybe Joe's had more if you combine all your different
Many,
places in the
many
world.
gaps.
Many gaps. When our nervous system is not well, when we are stuck in fight or flight, when we are rigid, it's really hard to feel gratitude and confidence, right? If my spine is like this, it's really hard to feel gratitude, okay? So we'll talk more about that. So, congratulations. If you guys are here, it's because you have moved through Discover Care or level 1, and that means you've had certain strategies that you've achieved. Now you two just started, but you're overachievers, so you're already here. I love that. Anybody have an idea of what those strategies are? Say it again?
SRI.
Well, SRI is a strategy that we use to get healthier, that's true, but these are strategies in your body, things that are different since you've started care.
Cracking, popping, whatnot, just
Your spine is self-organized.
It is, yeah.
Is that cool? That's so cool. Yeah. So in Discover, we hope you discover something about yourself. Anybody discover anything about themselves since they've been in care?
I had a lot of time to think about why it took me so long to be able to say no.
So you discovered you couldn't say no. And you discovered where that came from. Are you better about doing it now?
Oh yeah.
Yes! How crappy is it when you say yes and you need to say no?
Very.
How much do you think your spine has to tighten to say yes when you need to say no? A lot, right? So that's not a small deal, that's a big deal, right? Anybody relate to that? Anybody have that disease? Right? Not fun. So you discovered something. Anybody have more body awareness than they did when they started? Yeah, okay. Why is it important to have more body awareness?
So we're not just ahead.
We're not just we don't want to be just ahead, that would be very sad. But if you're not aware you're tired, you're not going to take rest. If you're not aware that you are hungry, you're not going to eat. If you're not aware that you're thirsty, you're going to wait too long. You can't take care of a body that you're not connected to. It is supremely important. Almost all diseases are coming from a lack of body awareness, okay? So it's pretty important. Respiratory wave. Raise your hand if you felt the breath move from the very bottom of your spine all the way to the top. Yes? Yeah, most of it. You guys just started, so I wouldn't expect you to raise your hand. Without that, you're living in fight or flight. Okay? Once you get that respiratory wave all the way through the spine, stress never hits you quite the same way. Okay? And that's when we can move into transform care. Okay? And it's beautiful. And you should be connected more to your body and releasing tension even when you're not here. Anybody aware of that? That you might be doing your dishes and, oh, I just dropped my shoulder. Cool. Wonderful. Yeah. Awesome stuff. And there should be more safety in the body. We shouldn't be living in fight or flight all the time. Yeah? I love having the kids here. Okay, so the first level of care is about discovery, right? And the second level of care is about transformation. But in the first level, we're mostly in defense. So we move from defense into safety, okay? But we don't want to stay there, right? Because there's no growth in safety. We want to go from safety into growth, right? Ships are safe in the harbor, but is that what ships are for? No, they're meant to explore and adventure, right? Explore the world. So there's three levels of this care. There's discover care, which the first level of care is. Transform care, which is all about what we're talking about tonight. And then there's awaken care. And it beautifully corresponds to the caterpillar, right? Which is out there just eating up everything, trying to grow, discovering its world, okay? But at some point, it outgrows that and it has to transform, okay? And it becomes the pupae. Did you know that when it goes into that form, every single part of it dissolves? Every single part. They're called imaginal cells. And then out of that becomes the butterfly, okay? And we call it awaken. Now in awaken, you know, the butterfly goes, and what it does is it goes and it gives love to every flower, right? Without the butterfly, the flowers can't exist. And when we're in awaken, we live in a state where everything we do is about giving love to others, right? Very, very beautiful way. So everything's the energy you bring to it. What does that mean? What does that mean to anyone?
Yeah, a negative attitude,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to bring negative results.
Mm-hmm. Right? So I'm going to the job interview, there's no way I'm going to get this job. Notice I can't even do that without keeping my head up. There's no way my spine goes into, now I go into the interview, that's going to affect it, right? Now when you're in Discover, your energy isn't great, okay? Because your spine is so subluxated, right? It's so in defense that is sucking all the energy, right? If you're fighting the tiger all the time, your energy, you don't have a lot of energy, right? And fight or flight means you're fighting some tiger, and the tiger could have been gone for 40 years, but if your nervous system hasn't been updated, you're still fighting the tiger, right? So, really important, your energy state. Now, in Discover, when a circumstance happens, you see it as a problem, right? So, not too many months ago, Jim and Sheila and I had our associate walk out rather quickly, and Sam, who gave us lots of notice, also left like that same week, right? So we were left with like no one. So that could be a problem, right? But I wasn't in Discover, right? I was in Transform. Okay, what are we gonna do, right? And Jim was in Transform. He's like, that's okay, honey. I never did this before, but I'll do it. And he's awesome at it. And then, so we saw it as an opportunity. And within very short time, this amazing angel came to us, and she's better than anyone we've ever had. Now, if I had went into Discover, I would have been like, no, we're not putting in an ad, I can't handle this, I don't have to train people, right? And I would have missed this wonderful opportunity. Now in Awaken, you don't just see it as an opportunity, you see it as a gift. Has anybody had something happen in their life, maybe in the past, that seemed like the worst thing ever, that years later, you were like, that's the best thing that ever happened to me? Most people, right?
I got divorced.
Exactly. When I got divorced, like a million years ago, I cried for the whole year. I was so sad. And I thought my world was ending. And my marriage sucked. I don't know why I was crying, I should have been celebrating. But I was afraid because I was alone. Right? And I didn't know how to be alone. And a year later, I met this soul. Best thing that ever happened to me. Now I'm crying. Okay, so what if your nervous system was flexible enough that any circumstance you could see either the opportunity or the gift immediately? Not 10 years later, not 20 years later, but immediately. How cool would that be, right? So if you have a flexible nervous system, you can do that. If every circumstance you respond to it in fight or flight, life is going to be hard, right? Because when we're in fight or flight, how well do we deal with things? Not too well. Now, if we're in combat, we deal really well, right? You want to be in fight or flight if you're in combat because you got to. But if you're acting like you're in combat and you're sitting in your car driving, that's not very efficient, right? And that's what most of us do. Okay, Care, Discover, Transform, Awaken, has more energy and more possibility available to it. Okay? Now, who here has had trauma in their life? That's a stupid question, right? Everybody's thinking. Okay? Trauma without energy is awful. Trauma with energy becomes a massive gift, okay? So for me personally, I had a lot of trauma, okay, very early on in my life. And because of that, I became hyper-vigilant. People know what that means, right? That's not great. But you know what? Now that I'm in Awaken, that hyper-vigilance, it allows me to notice when you walk in the room, something's not right. Right? I use that now to serve others. So the wound has become the gift. How cool is that? If it just stays the wound, not so great. Okay? So one of my favorite group of people to work with is our children, especially children who lost their parents, because that's a big trauma. And our founder, Donnie Epstein, says the bigger the wound, the bigger the gift. The potential for the bigger the gift, right? You need to get care to realize that, obviously, right? So, yay. Okay, which one looks healthier? This stuff with your nervous system starts really, really early. Hi, welcome. Come on in.
So,
yes,
wearing red.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Maria, how long does it take you to get here?
1 hour and 15 minutes with the lights.
Cheryl, how long does it take you to get here?
Under 5.
She can walk. So I really honor you, Maria, for your commitment. That's really good. You're not the longest, though. We have people come from Benson.
Oh wow. It's
Mexico.
And yes, it's been a while, but we have people who come from Obregon, Mexico. They would come up and stay for a week and do 10 trainings in a week. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So you were saying earlier, I'm so grateful my son is getting this care because he doesn't have to live like I lived, right? He's gonna have all the benefits of a healthy nervous system now, which is great. But the egg that formed him was in you when you were a little girl. So the trauma that your mother experienced, he also experienced, right? So we can actually make intergenerational change with this care because it actually affects the way your genes are expressed because it changed the cell membrane and that's where the genes are latched onto. So it's amazing, right? So it's a big deal. And then do we have any 3 generations here? No. We have a couple of families that are 3 generations coming. That's so exciting. Okay, so read that. So we're working with something really powerful. And chiropractic's origin was to unite man and woman, the physical with man and woman, the spiritual. How many people knew that? Not even Sheila, right? So, and most chiropractors in this town don't know that because chiropractic has become dissolved into some sort of pseudo backcracking physical therapy and something. But it's about waking us up to our fullest potential. So, this is the triad of change. Raise your hand if you know what that is. Clearly Bryson does. Anybody familiar with the triad of change? Yeah? No, Sheila is. She lives that. So let me just tell you a little bit about it. So this is Donnie Epstein's conception of how we can make change in our life. Okay? Who wants to make a change in their life? I hope everyone, right? Okay, if we're not growing, we should be stagnant and heading towards death. Anybody want to say what the change is? Anybody want to?
Being happier and healthy.
Yeah, so what would it look like if you were healthier? What would you be doing? What would feeling?
Maybe staying, I don't know, like going to trips to
Oh, this woman wants to travel.
yes.
She wants to travel. Okay, so that's her health goal. And what gets in the way? Is it health or money?
Right now I think
Like both. Okay. So let's take the example of somebody. We're going to take a really easy one. If somebody wants to lose weight, because we're in America, everyone wants to lose weight, even if you're thin. So what would you do to lose weight? You could exercise, yeah. Anything else?
Eat clean.
You could eat better, okay? So those are behaviors. Those are things you're going to do, right? So in this model, if you just do one side of the triad, for example, behavior, structure, or perception, your efforts, you may get some result, but it won't be sustainable. How sustainable is losing weight in this country when people exercise and eat well? Mostly it's been crappy, right? So what would be a structure, an organization that you could do to help you lose weight? Something that would help you with that.
Meditate, picture yourself as the person you want to be, not who you are.
That would be more perception. That would be great, right? Meditate, visualize yourself as thin and healthy. That would be great. That would be more perception. But what would be structure? Some sort of organization that you could do.
Try to eat healthy every day.
So
Little things.
if you could say, I'm going to make a food plan, right? Or I'm going to lock the fridge. You're not getting in there. Weight Watchers, which is fairly successful. I don't really like the food that they sell, but they have a structure and they have behaviors and they even have perception because they have you weigh yourself and you talk about blah, blah, blah. So they're very successful because they use all the sides of the triad. Now when we work on your spine, we work on your structure, right, which is your physical body and your posture. We work on the behaviors of your spine. We're looking at the breath, we're looking at the muscles and how they move. And then how often do I say, where are you feeling the breath? What are you noticing, right? That's your perception of what's going on, okay? Now Shelia works primarily with structure perception, doing SRI, and I work primarily with structure behavior. So we hit every side of that triad, and that's why people get such amazing changes, all right? Now when you're thinking about, we all have a triad. We have a way that we move in the world that either sucks, excuse my French, or is really powerful, okay? So you need to discover for you what that is, all right? So for me, I am perception behavior, which means I get a sense of what's gonna be great, and then I start doing it. If I start by making a plan, you're all in trouble, because that is not my gift. Okay, I'll spend hours on it, it'll be a horrible plan, and I'll never get started. Okay, so you need to think about which of these, is anybody know what their drain is? That's the one that's hard. So for me, the drain is structure. That's why I can't find anything. That's why you go in my office, it's a mess. That's not my gift. Anybody know, is it, or does anybody know what is their gift? That, you know, I'm just, that's easy for me. You think like structure's your gift. Now I'm going to ask him, do you agree with that assessment? Because sometimes what we think is our gift isn't, and maybe it is. Does planning seem to support her? Does having organization seem to support her? It does. Okay, great. So that's great that you know that, right?
I have to say that if I want to live.
Oh, so he's using a behavior which is saving his butt. I agree. Okay, great. So the thing that I did for years is I tried to use list and structure to make myself feel better. And we often work on our drain thinking that's going to be going to help us. What you want to do is really focus on what is your gift, okay? And the other will come along. But your homework is just to begin to notice, when you have a good day, how did I do that? You know, did I start with a plan? Or did I start by just doing things and the plan evolved? Or did I just get a sense of, how do I want my day to be? And then the plan came, okay? And that's your recipe. That's your recipe for having a phenomenal life. So in that triad, I want you to see that energy, though, is at the center, right? Because if I'm using my triad, but my energy's like this, it won't matter much, okay? And if my energy's off the charts, it also won't matter if I use my triad wrong, because energy is primary, okay? So check out your energy state now, and notice how it is in about a half hour from now, okay? So I want you to read this. So the energy you bring to your life matters. So we could be energy poor, energy neutral, or energy rich. Who thinks they live their life mostly energy rich? Shelia? Jane. Okay. So, who thinks they live their life mostly energy poor? Yeah. So now that would be pretty acceptable because you haven't had any care and your spine is really, you know, that's why you're here, right? So, and you raised your hand. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you hang out there more than you want to.
With the energy low, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But from where you started, you were probably energy poor. Now you're energy poor.
Yeah.
You're also a single parent, so there's that. But this is important to understand. Energy neutral, which is not on here, energy neutral is where most of us hang out. Energy neutral, nothing really is going to change. There's going to be a lot of effort. Oh, I'm doing a lot of things. I'm working on it. But nothing really changes. Okay, that is not great. Okay, we want to be in energy rich. Now, if you're in super energy rich, then you can impact somebody just by being in their presence. Okay, a lot of times people come in this space and they say, "Oh, it's so nice here." Well, this is an energy rich field. So people walk in and they're already responding to the energy richness of the field, even if we don't ever touch them, okay? We touch them and it's even more powerful. So you can be a beacon of light by being more and more energy rich. And to do that, you have to have a nervous system that can handle that bandwidth of energy moving through. Because if you take an energy rich state, sometimes people go to programs or they do different kind of meditations and they get waves going through their spine, and there's an energy richness there, and it's terrible. Because the physiology literally can't sustain it, right? Because there's a lot of energy blowing through a system that's like rock, right? So you want to have both, okay? So, yay. All right, so, yes, okay. Don't you love this? So, kids are supposed to be in discover. They're supposed to be learning, finding things out, figuring things out. Discover is a beautiful, beautiful place to be. But if you're in Discover and you're 40 or 60, that's not so great, okay? So when you're in Discover, and you're not supposed to be in Discover, you're going to be energy poor, you're going to be reactive, okay? You're going to shrink from opportunities. Oh no, I can't do that, I don't have enough energy, oh no, blah, 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 blah. You play not to lose instead of playing to win. You're never going to win that way, right? What energy do you think you're bringing to your life? And you can, with a more flexible nervous system, choose more and more, because it is a choice. Now, when you've been in fight or flight, it is not a choice. You can really only bring energy, or if you're lucky, energy neutral. Okay, so tell me what bandwidth means to you guys. In any sense.
How far? Like
How much range you have, right? How much ability you have to navigate things. So the greater your bandwidth, the greater your life. So you can upgrade your bandwidth every time you get your networking training. And when you go from Discover Care to Transform, the bandwidth is unbelievably higher. And when you move into Awaken, it's light years ahead, okay? Now, when your phone is overloaded and needs to be updated and you don't do anything, what happens? It slows down or it shuts down, okay? That's what happens to people. If it gets too overloaded, then they're gonna have some kind of thing that knocks them down, okay? You wanna be clear and coherent. So energy rich states, you move with a purpose, right? You know where you're going, whatever it takes, right? Okay, so we are rewarded or punished by how much energy we bring to the field. What does that mean to people? So I was energy rich, we attracted Kat. If I was energy poor, I would have attracted a very different person that was gonna come through that door, okay? If I am bringing energy riches to the field and I am bringing goodness to the field, you're rewarded. Things will just come to you, right? But if you're not bringing much to the field, you don't get much back, okay? That's what that means. Because life isn't just about you. We are all connected, whether you feel it or not, okay? Okay, who likes symptoms? Nobody. You do. Tell us more.
Let's there's an issue.
That's right, right? It's giving you information, right? And often suffering collapses all infinite possibilities into one really fixed reality, right? When we get so narrow that we only see things one way and we can't see any other possibilities, that is suffering. You may have physical pain or not, but you're definitely gonna have emotional pain because you're meant to see the whole range, right? You know the story of the elephant? there's like 5 blind men, and the leader says, tell me about the elephant, and one feels the trunk and says, well, the elephant describes the trunk, the other feels, the back leg and describes that, and the other, all the different parts, and they were all correct, but they didn't have the whole perspective. They had one perspective, a limited perspective. And when your nervous system is not working well, you have little bandwidth, you really only see one little perspective, which is such pain. It causes such pain. Do you have a little more perspective, Cheryl, since you've been in care? And does your husband?
I think so,
Yes,
yeah.
he does.
Yeah.
Not as much as you, because your spine is a little more flexible, but from where he started, it's so wonderful to see. It's really wonderful to see. So the symptom is to tell you that you are greater than you've been expressing so far, right? I was telling someone the other day, the symptom, Donnie says that the symptom, what if the symptom was part of the healing, part of the cure, right? How many of you would be sitting here tonight without a symptom? No, right? And think how much you've changed because of those symptoms that drove you to do something. Because you were definitely not expressing the greatness that is in you. And you're doing that so much more now. And who benefits from that? Everybody in your circle, right? How cool is that? That look a little different?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. She has her son and grandson in care. Because she said what Kat said, I don't want them to end up suffering like I suffered. That's cool. Okay, everybody stand up. We're gonna do aerobics. Kat's gonna lead it. No. Okay, so just stretch a little bit, move a little bit. Okay. You can sit when you're ready. Okay, so there was a study done on, research done on depression. And anybody here suffer from depression and want to admit it? I have.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So this study had 3 different groups. One was got a placebo, one was given drugs, and one was told to look in the mirror and grin, and stand with the shoulders back and head up, and take deep breaths for 20 minutes. Okay? It took place over 90 days. Who do you think performed best? Group 3. That's a no-brainer, isn't it? Do you think we had to spend millions of dollars on this? Okay. So, but the question is why?
Put you in tune with yourself.
This actually, looking in the mirror and grinning, that's a perception and a behavior. Standing with the shoulders back is a structure. Taking deep breaths for 20 minutes, that's another behavior. And so it had all the different parts of the triad, which makes sustainable change. Okay, so if you're looking to make a change, you want to make sure that you're doing that. Okay? We'll talk about that. Oh, you gotta go like this. Somebody read that for me.
I hope your pain doesn't go away 1 second before it's time. All pain requires you to investigate your life.
That's the founder, Donnie Epstein. So if you came here for pain relief, I'm sorry. So I want to tell you a story of a patient. This wasn't my patient, it was actually Donnie's patient. He came, his wife came in, and she made him come in. I came in with the kids, and he came for several months, and he just would say, my back hurts, my back still hurts, my back hurts. And Donnie was doing the assessments and saying, this doesn't make any sense. This mind is so different. And so finally he went out and he said to the kids, what's different about Daddy since he's been getting care? And the kid says, he no longer beats Mommy. So it's not about the pain. That pain is going to stay there until he gets the message or whatever he needs to get. And clearly he was getting some message, right? Because things were different. All healing requires a change in meaning. If the symptom goes away and you are exactly the same, then you have not healed, right? And that symptom will come back, or it'll come back in a different form. Because it's going to wake you up to make the changes you need to be the greatest self that you came here to be. And it isn't just about you. When you don't show up, how many people are affected by you playing small? Right? So, pain means you need a new source of energy, right? If you are in a season of life where you're 50 and above, you should really be in awaken, right? That's the time when you've woken up, you've gone through transform, you've built the business, you built the family, and now you're in a place where you can give back to others, right? But if all you do is go to the doctor, that's discover, right? And when you are 2 seasons away from where you need to be, it is life-threatening. And it causes major, major disruption. Symptoms are an invitation to the extraordinary. Who wants ordinary? Not me. And ordinary is the conditioned way we do life. That's the autopilot. I'm doing it this way, I'm doing it that way, blah, blah, blah. And there's no upper mind. There's no like, why am I doing this? What's next? Okay? Oh, I love this one. Somebody read this one.
In the season of transform, your circumstances don't determine your energy state. You determine your energy state and bring that to your circumstances.
Have you done that? Have you come to work and had like low energy and you said, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna serve?
Yeah.
And nobody knew, right? And did you feel different at the end of the day?
Yeah.
So she said, oh, okay, I'm gonna get through this day, I'm gonna be here, hi, she would have actually, all of you would have been affected by that, and she wouldn't have been any better off, okay? So, it doesn't mean that if I lose a loved one, I don't grieve or mourn and have it maybe a day when I don't feel well, but it means everything is the energy you bring to it, right? I have a client that comes in, every time I ask her, she's like, oh, it's Monday. You know how I feel on Monday, and I'm like, because she's adding to whatever it is she's dealing with, she is bringing an energy that is not helping her, right? Yeah, it's making it worse. Yeah. Now again, if you've had no care, you really don't have a lot of choice. And she's actually bringing what's called the cultural field, because isn't that what the cultural field tells us? We're supposed to whine, we're supposed to complain, and if we hurt, what are we supposed to do? Get a pill, and get rid of it as fast as possible so we can get back to the same life, the same crappy life that caused the need for the pill in the first place. Okay, I'm not saying there isn't a place for pills, but it shouldn't be the first place. Okay, and it shouldn't be the only place that you go. Yeah. So, wonderful. Oh, look at that, it's demo time. So I'm gonna demo on Maria, since she came from an hour and a half away. Do you want to shut that one off? You don't need to. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're gonna go in the entrainment room. And we're gonna watch this one. You're gonna see this here. This is so exciting. So exciting. So I'm just really gently moving her head side to side just to see how much play there is. Now I don't do this normally because you start face down, but I'm just waiting for everybody to get in their places. So you can go face down. Okay. So when we look at her spine just to start, we can see that there's some of her structure is a little cattywampus, right? This part is close. So you should come closer to the so you can see. And the other thing that jumps out at me is this little bit of a hump that she has here, right? This some reversal of the cervical curve. And then, whoo, sorry, darling. I want you to be aware of just how much of this you can see just to start. Just to start where she's at, right? So, let's see. So I'm going to just start by saying hello to her spine and noticing where she's at, energy state, triad. Ooh. Yeah, oh, that's good. That's good too.
So when I bring her legs together, just let me do it. You notice how there's resistance, right? So if she was in a relaxed state, the legs would just stay where I put them. But you can see there's quite a bit of resistance, okay? And when I bring them together, they are balanced. When I try and separate them, she also doesn't like that. Okay, so I'm just evaluating how much ease is in the spine to start every time you come. Now we want to see that this tendon, it's called the Achilles tendon, has a lot of play up and down and side to side. And right now there's not too much. And then turn your head to the right for me. And notice how that feels. Go the other way. Oh, okay, so 5. Okay, and then go to the center. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna do this slowly. So you notice how you're guarding already? So you're anticipating it's gonna hurt, which is actually gonna make it hurt worse.
Okay.
That's just information for you. Is it hurting right now? No. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. Okay. Yeah. So once we've had a symptom, we kind of get worried that it's gonna keep happening, so we guard even more and often make it worse. So that's that. So C5. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the discover contact because she's barely breathing and she's really, really tight. That doesn't mean we're gonna stay in discover, right? But we're gonna just start there to get the system like woken up, okay? So let's have you just tip your nose down just a little bit so I can find the whole neck. Beautiful.
What made you think C5?
Because she had a short leg, and when she turned her head, it evened slowly. So that's a chiropractic thing. That told me C5. If it evened fast, it would tell me C1. If it didn't even at all, it would tell me another thing. So we have like 25 things that we're looking at. This is why I'm like, please no talking. I'll make us start over and you'll never leave. That's a very great question. So C5. And it was on this side. Sure, it was on that side. So it's a C4. Okay, so lower mental back. This way. So discover contacts are in and out fast. What do you see happening here?
Straightening.
Mm-hmm.
Her breath is moving.
You can see the breath expanding, more up and down. And I want to see more happen here, right? Because I'm not going into transform until we have a whole lot more breath than that. But that's a great start. She drove here from an hour and a half away. She probably worked all day. So,
Hour and a half on the road.
yeah, hour and a half on the road. Oh, that's great. So I want her to be paying attention to what's happening. I want you all to be paying attention to what you notice happening in your bodies and spine as I work with her. Just notice how much that amplitude is going up. That's great.
Starting into the breath.
Yes. Starting in there, which is good. There's this getting even more, right? Beautiful. So now I'm just gonna come here and I'm gonna see what's changed here. Now if you actually look from down here, just noticing this, she has her whole body has a little bit of a C curve in it. Right, so we're just noticing all these different things about her spine and we're gonna celebrate how they change. Now can you see how there's a little more motion in that tendon? And there's a lot more in that tendon. Still not right short. Okay, so it's full on. Okay, so we're gonna have her stretch a little bit. So now, we're gonna help this gateway, which we want to increase its bandwidth. So we're gonna do that by holding it just a little longer so this part can grow. Good. What are you guys seeing happen? Yeah, even more of that breath wave going up even further. So this gateway, which was responsive closer in, is now actually responsive even at a greater distance. Eventually those gateways will be responsive all the way out here. That's why we set the tables up like this, so that you can help each other. All right, so now look at that. So that means the spinal cord went from to, which is awesome. Okay, so that is good. Okay, so now, yes. So I want to do transform on her. That was late discover. So we're going to have you lie on this side with your head down the other end. Okay, so when we put people in this position, who likes this position? No one. Because it's instability. But we do that on purpose because you really have to engage with your spine. Okay, there's no sleeping. Okay, great. So when we do this, bring the hips all the way close to me. Yay. Bring the legs as straight as possible. And your toes towards the, yeah. And don't lock your knees so your legs are straight. That sends the energy up. We want the energy in the spine, not down here in the legs, okay? Now, this shoulder is lower. We're gonna take this elbow, bring it down. We bring that shoulder under. There you go. So the shoulders are level now. The hips are more or less level. And we're gonna put your head where we want to. See how our head isn't really part of her body? We're gonna put it like that. Hold it there. A couple of fingers like a cup at the temple, right? So it can wobble. So we want it to wobble. Now she is a beautiful woman, so she should have a lumbar curve, right? This is more a masculine approach. You're not going to go through transform if you're not in your core nature. So press your belly into my hand, push it the other way. Make a big fat belly. That puts a little more curve here, which is going to help her be more in her authentic nature. Okay, close your eyes. Good. Bring the fingers close. The gateways that we're looking at are right here and right here. There's two little spots in the lower neck that I want her to pay attention to. Okay, and we're going to send some energy there to have them grow in bandwidth. Just ask the spine, oh, there it is. We're going to go right here. We'll say, why don't you go home? We're directing this fuel, this bound energy back home where it can be useful. Same thing here. There you go. Notice how our whole spine kind of expands. Send that up. There. Good. Wrist on your back. middle transform. Now you're gonna bring those arms out to the side. You're gonna bend your knees, right? Good, 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 good. So I want you to be aware of those two gateways in your neck that we were just focusing on. And just be aware of your spine. Look how much breath is coming up her spine in this moment. It's almost like a different person. So in late transform, we can access those gateways and refine them from down at the feet, okay? She's not had this so far. Tonight's perfect time to start. Whoa. That's it. Right. Oh yeah. Yep. We do that, this allows the sound of the heart to be heard, and that allows for some lifting of the chest, which we'll need in awakened care and late transform. That's beautiful. We're going to end there. So you just stay where you are. So I want to know what people sensed or felt, and then if you have questions, we can do that later. But first, I want to know what did you sense or feel in either yourself or in her that was novel or different?
I felt a total relaxation in her, which then transpired.
You were entrained. That's why we use the word entrainment, and that's why we do the 4 tables, because if you're lucky enough to be next to someone who's in late transform and you're just starting care, that's gonna help your entrainment, right? Because we entrain to each other's rhythm, which is good, whether we're all gonna train into being like this, or we're all gonna train to being like that. I prefer this, personally. Anybody else notice anything?
I do have a question.
Hold your question.
Like
I
this,
have no questions. I want you to tell me what you perceived or felt or noticed first, and then we'll do that, because that goes back in here. Any other perceptions, feelings, senses?
Lightness, a release.
In who?
Me.
In you. Isn't that cool? You can thank Maria. So they've had the most care, so they're actually entraining to her rhythm easier. The more care you have, that's just the way it goes, which is great. Now the way Donnie designed this care is that in late transform we use what's called long lever arms to access different gateways and energy fields, so that when you're in your life, you do this, you might go clunk, 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 and reorganize. Right? The goal is to get you to be self-organizing and with the least amount of force shift. Okay, so yes,
okay,
question.
well, it has to do with energy.
Yes.
Like when somebody is first starting out and they're just new, is it better for them to be in between 2 people who've been doing it for a while to get more
That would be
versus the end? I'm
Yes.
just wondering.
Yes, but we don't control that. We let the weaver handle that.
I just wasn't sure.
But just in, in general, some people think, oh, they come in and there's rarely anyone comes in and there's one table, but when that happens, somebody will say, oh, I get you all to myself, and I think, oh,
Not lucky
Not
for
long.
you. Not for long, but really not lucky for them, because it's not about me, it's
Right.
about the field, and the more people, the more the field is coherent, right? So, yeah, and if you had, and this is why we have the chairs, because I'd rather you wait here in this field than wait in that field with the computers and unless you're connecting with people, because connection is really beautiful and helpful too. And that's why I do not allow any phones, because that is the epitome of no connection, right? Your connection with your lower mind and not much else. Any other questions or comments about what you saw? There's some energy richness. Okay, great. So I'm gonna have you sit up now, Maria. Actually, let's, if you don't mind, we'll have you go face down just one more time. Then I want to hear from Maria. Some of that was new to her. Okay, so let's look at her spine. Anybody see anything different in her structure?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit, right? The hips are close to level.
Almost
right?
level, yeah.
And the C that I was seeing is also gone, which is pretty cool. Awesome. Now, to be honest, I don't pay this much attention when I'm training because I know that things are gonna happen. So sometimes I'm like, wow, that's me. I don't half of that I don't see, which is fine because I'm on to the next person. Wow, you feel that, Maria?
Yeah.
Like, because the spinal cord couldn't be any looser. That's like butter, which is great. Yeah. And that's, this side is easier too. Oh, that's easier too. Okay, and notice how you're not guarding?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that pattern starts to unwind. That's very cool. Okay, you can sit for us. And then we'd love to hear anything you want to share about your experience. I keep looking for water.
When I was coming here, I was trying to be calm and relaxed.
She was trying.
I was trying, yeah, but when you were doing it, I mean, no, I need to relax more. And then I was feeling more air going through my whole body and feeling much better.
You didn't have to try, it just happened.
Yes.
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 Yes, yes, yes. So I really want you to notice what we talked about in terms of anticipating pain, because what we anticipate, we will bring to us, right? If you anticipate that you're gonna win a lot of money, you're more likely to win a lot of money. But if you're anticipating you're gonna hurt, then you guard and you actually create more pain. So, okay, great. We have a few more slides and we'll go from there. Sherry couldn't be bothered. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay. Sheila, I'm gonna have you stay up here. Okay. Yeah, she's like, oh, why? You're gonna lead the aerobics. No. She could too. She could. I want you to say the 3 things that have changed about you that you're most excited about.
Just 3.
That's why I said 3, because we could be here for hours. Just that are most impactful to you, whatever those are. She didn't know she was gonna do this.
No.
Listening to my body signals and using the tools and strategy that we use here and for life. I use my triad all the time when the situations show up. When I explained it in the SRI room, it's what is your least resourceful would be what's a struggle. What's a struggle? That's a big clue that's your dream. And leading with your most resourceful.
So you gave us 2, I want one more, and I want a specific thing that's different. It used to be this, and now it's like that.
Oh, well, that's easy. That's easy. When I came here, I went to a presentation that Dr. Joanne gave, and I was a nervous wreck. No one knew it because I was always smiling, and I was a nurturer by nature, so caring for other people. And and in this care, I've learned with all that Dr. Joanna just shared tonight about the spine being aligned, that hasn't been the case for many years.
It doesn't mean that she hasn't had life, or a lot of life, but she navigates it very, very differently, you know? So, yeah. Awesome, thank you. Let's hear it for Sheila. Yeah, so she said no one knew it, but she was having physical problems as a result of being a nervous wreck, right? And how well did you do with saying no, Sheila?
Oh, I didn't say
It was
no.
impossible, right? But she can do it now, which is great. It's a powerful word. Okay, so, Maria, did you feel the wave go through your spine today?
Yes.
Yes, you did. Okay. Yeah. So in Transform Care, we begin to see the somatopsychic wave. For those of you who've done, this is too early, so you don't know what that is. So for those of you who've done stage 2 with Sheila, and you put your hands down on the table and you feel like, that is the somatopsychic wave. I agree, that's very funny. Okay. So, anyway, that wave is an incredible stress buster. Okay, it's the breath wave is one thing, gentle breath wave coming from the bottom to the top of the spine, that releases the fight or flight, but the somatopsychic wave is an energetic wave that literally moves the spine and the body. Okay, some waves can be really subtle, they can hardly see them, but if you can feel them, that's all that matters. Okay, so that wave is your unique signal. Okay, each of us, when that wave goes through, it's unique to you. Okay, it's a central pattern generator. Each of us have a gait, the way we walk. There are no two gaits in the world that are the same. You can be identified by your gait anywhere in the world. The same is true of that somatopsychic wave. It is your unique signal, right? So how many of us she was describing she had the mask, right? No one knew it. I'm fine. I'm good. Just don't check my spine, okay? So those masks begin to just go bye-bye. Because the masks are there because we're in fight or flight, and we feel like if anyone knew who we really were, they would run for the hills. Has anyone ever felt that? I got right? So, but it is you in your authentic nature, and it may not be the prettiest model on the block, which is you bring your unique gift to the world that no one else can bring, mind you. Okay, so who knows whether they're internal or external, or what that even means? Raise your hand if you have an idea of what that is. You do? And you do. Okay. What is your sense? Are you internal or external, Joe?
Internal.
Internal. I'm not so sure about that. I've been going back and forth and back and forth. Have you been going back and forth too? Or are you certain?
I'm pretty certain,
Pretty
but
certain.
I tried to be a little more external.
Yes. Okay.
But it's a challenge.
So let's do a little exercise. Okay? Everybody, close your eyes. And we're going to do 2 ways of interpreting your body. So, open your eyes so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so raise your hands. One way that people access energy is by being aware of themselves from way outside. So you can put your awareness on the ceiling or the roof, and be aware of your energy, your breath, and just how that affects you. That's one way. Now another way is you bring your hands, like you can put your hands on your palms. Okay? Now be aware of yourself as if you're deep inside, like go deep inside and feel yourself from there. And then just notice what happens to your breath, your energy, your sense of aliveness. And then go back out just so you contrast. Say it again? This is external. Yes, which is very obvious, right? Raise your hand, keep your hands up if you are external and you can feel that. If you're not sure, then you're not sure. So yeah, okay. So most people who like network hair are external because externals like the weird stuff. They like the stuff that's head, right? Internals typically like things that they can relate to other things. Doesn't mean we don't have people in the hair who are external, but more often than not. Externals, they get really excited about the future. But when they think about the past, they kind of get energy drains and they blah, 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 blah. Knowing that is really key, because if you're living your life as an internal, observing yourself from here, your energy's gonna drop, your emotions your thoughts are gonna, everything's gonna be like crap, right? So play with that and just notice what serves you better. Okay. Yeah, we talked about that. Okay. This, I love this because it's so freaking obvious, right? She is so far ahead of herself, which is what we do when we're anxious, right? And she's what, I don't know, 5 or something? Okay, good. What have you learned so far?
That I'm external.
That's awesome. That's awesome. For you, you find yourself grinding your teeth? Not only can you do SRI, sometimes you can't do that. Maybe you could just go like this. And if people are like, oh, that guy's weird, you can say, here, take this lady's card, she's even weird, but she's helping. I'm waiting for you. You do. There we got it. Okay, good. Okay, anybody else? Nobody else learned something? I'm gonna cry. No, it's not the circumstance, it's the energy I bring to it. Does anybody else learn anything, or like, wow, I never thought of it that way, or I'm gonna pay attention there?
I was thinking it was only 2 levels, but this one is really different.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Yes, and awaken is even better. It's like, yeah, there's discover care, you missed that. Transform, this is transform care,
Yes.
and then there's awaken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, another class for that. Anybody else learn something, or relearn something? What you learn?
About animals first they started to death and then they fly.
Caterpillars and butterflies.
Oh, thank you. I was like, okay. See, children often live in awaken. Yeah, he goes around, he comes in when she's getting trained, he comes over and kisses her. He's like a butterfly. Okay, anybody else? Joe?
I read a lot of books on energy healing and all that stuff, so it all rings a bell. I think some of those points were from Seeker's Code or something.
Yes, yes,
I was like,
yes.
this all looks really familiar.
That's a great reminder. The Seeker's Code out there is Donnie's newest book. It's really awesome. So read it. But there's a thing about knowing things, but that's very different than experiencing it in your physiology.
I do a lot of energy healing in between shifts at work.
Mm-hmm.
I go out and I just try and soak in energy with some breathing exercises, and it always makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. So you see how you're sitting? What's your energy state now?
I'd say closed off, but it's comforting.
It's comforting. Bring your hands up. Really up. And bring your awareness up. What's your energy state now?
I mean, honestly, I feel the same.
You feel the same. You guys can't see him, but I can see him. So comfort is energy neutral. When you're in energy neutral, it's comforting because you're not in energy poor, right? And you fit into the culture, but you are not meant to fit in the culture. You're not even from this planet, right? Yeah. So if you try and fit in, you're gonna have a lot of pain. I can assure you of that because I tried for a long time. I don't fit in. I'm not supposed to fit in. You are supposed to bring that which is from the future to this part to help heal the planet. You cannot do that if you're comfortable. You can wait till you're dead to be comfortable. I got another smile all over. Okay, so in Transform Care, shift happens, okay? People start to make better choices. They get rid of the crappy stuff and they add the good stuff. Okay, raise your hand if you've done some of that. You can raise both hands, Natasha, right? So many, yes. So isn't that cool, right? Very, very cool. Okay, raise your hand if you like instability. You do! Kids are instability. That's just what they are. Anybody else besides anyone over 10? You like instability. What do you like about instability, Jim?
Adventure, change, challenge.
Yes. If you like stability, death is great. Stability, right? Nothing's changing. Okay. So you're external. So you're gonna do me a favor. You're gonna sit like that. The way you put your hands is where the energy goes. So if you're external and you sit like this, you're actually, because the energy is gonna go where your hands are pointing, whether you're thinking about it or not. Okay. So you can just do that, and it'll be a thing. You'll notice. Don't worry about it. These guys are so new at care. I'm so happy they're here. And a lot of this is just gonna go, and that's okay. So, instability. When I put her on her side, did you feel some instability when you were on your side, Maria? When you were on your side?
Yes, a little bit.
You were supposed to. Yeah. Did you feel energy move up your spine?
Yes.
Yes. And it was going, energy that was defense, that was not helping you, was going up the spine into those gateways to help reorganize that whole pattern.
Yeah, I felt different.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. So like Jim was saying, when you're instability, there's adventure, right? You celebrate life. You're looking for what's next, okay? But if you're in fight or flight, do you want adventure? No, right? You want to like just hold on for dear life because you feel like you're going to die, right? So, but we didn't come here to just hold on for dear life. We came here to give our unique gifts that only we can give. Okay, great. I'll put that one. Oh, I love this little girl. Look at that smile. So cute, yes. Okay, so we used to have this slide somewhere in the office, but it went away. But NS stands for network spinal. Most of the population lives here. Energy neutral or worse, right? Network spinal is not about being comfortable. If you came here to be comfortable, you're in the wrong place, okay? It's about all of this. Talked about that. Oh! She's on this. You guys stand up too. Okay, good. Even you, Karina, I see you. Okay. Since you're up, okay, let's just take a stretch, take a breath, say yes! Yes!
Oh my.
That is a great example of energy richness.
Best cheerleader ever. I think he should have been good for laughing
Many
yoga.
adults are very uncomfortable with this. Yes, but this is energy richness. We should all be like this, but with some refinement because we are adults, right? But we don't like it because it's a mirror to us of how dead we are, right? And we should be alive until we're dead. Okay, Natasha, would you read that for me? Can you see it?
The path isn't a straight line, spiral.
It says fight a minute.
Oh, let Mama read. Okay.
You continually come back to things you thought you understood and seek deeper truths.
Thank you. Okay, awesome sauce. So sometimes you can sit if you want or stand, whatever you want to do. We're almost done. Sometimes you come in and you just lost your job. You're probably not going to do transform care on you. We're probably going to do discover or maybe some integrate. Okay. But it won't be the same discover from when you came in a year ago. We just had somebody start. She's had 2 months of care. She had to have hip surgery because she fell, and her spine is so much better, even though she just went through hip surgery. And we're going to do her progress consultation tomorrow. So even though we had to go back to discover, she wasn't at the same level from when she started. Karina, I want to hear from you. What's one thing that you're excited about that's different about you?
I'm excited about me.
Yes, one thing that's different that you're excited about.
Well, I would say I'm, because I have, with my fibromyalgia and my CRPS and stuff, I was always like really tight, and so now it's like my shoulders stuff. I was having trouble with my neck for about 3 or 4 weeks. So that's finally resolved itself. So I just have more energy and, I feel straighter. I'm not so...
Your posture's better.
Yeah, my posture's better. Yeah.
Great.
So I'm not holding as much stress.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So.
Yes. And when I met you, do you think you could have done that kitchen thing that you just did?
No.
Not even close.
No.
Right? So you need to remember how far you've come.
Oh yeah.
Really cool. So, you talked about that. Oh, that's me. Okay. So, we can skip that. Oh, I'll read this one. You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. So your energy state, before you even walk in the room, they feel it. So when I go in to meet a new person, before I even get there, they're feeling my energy state. They may not be aware of it, okay? So it matters, okay, how you show up. The more entrainments you have, the more you're gonna show up energy rich, the more you can impact the field, okay? Really, really powerful. Oh, we talked about that. Ooh, we'll do a different class on awakened care. Okay, so, we did a little laughter session in here with these two. We did laughter yoga on Saturday. We laughed from the beginning to the end. Laughter is part of awakening. Laughter is one of the qualities of being awakened. Yes? Yes!
Yes.
So each of you on your chairs had 2 little flyers. Did everybody get those? Yes. So one of them is for a free consultation that you can give to somebody else. They can come in and they could meet us. Okay, we don't do entrainments or anything like that. We just sit down and chat with them and say, hey, this might be a fit for you, or blah, blah, blah. Okay? So the other is our next class, Discover class, which is October 4th. I'm going to ask you, people are dying because they do not have this care. Literally dying. They need to know. If you feel benefit and you have been helped, please make sure you give those to 2 different people. Okay? And tell them your story. Tell them how I just did this thing with the kitchen, or how I say no, or whatever it is. Okay? Because your stories are what move people. It's not what I do, it's about what's different in you. Okay? So, that is the end. So the last thing I want to say is thank you for your trust. I know that it's no small thing. Even people who come from 5 minutes, it's a commitment, right? It's a commitment of your time, your energy, your money, and I value your trust immensely. And we're here to serve you and make you the best version of you possible, so that you can share that with our world, and we all know our world needs it. Yes? Yes. So, have a good day.